What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Turbo today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, okay? It's the 16th of June. Here we are with about 5 hours and 37 minutes left in the day, up about 8% on the day so far. Had a little bit of a higher price before you pulled back, but this is still good growth to see on this day. Let's look at something with some volume on it, maybe the Coinbase chart, yeah. We'll look back at the other chart just for historical references, but not a whole lot of volume. Let's see. What are we getting here? Let's see. Turbo. Turbo. That's decent volume, though. $55 million on a $276 million market cap. That is decent volume. So I'm not too worried about what we're seeing here on the daily chart on Coinbase. Maybe we should be looking at a different chart. Let's see. What else do we got? Binance USDT. Still not a lot, but let's look at the 1 hour time frame. Okay, well, there it is. Yeah. Whoop, there it is right there. That was a big day or a big hour right there, moving all the way up. You've broken out of this range. You got a little bit excited, pulled back. I think this is a foreshadowing of the events to come. And honestly, there's a saying that used to be on BitBoy's channel back whenever it was BitBoy's channel. What once got wicked, what's been wicked will get candlesticked. And I think this will get candlesticked. It will start moving up pretty damn soon. If we're looking at this here from a high to a low, you're right there at the golden ratio, coming back down to the 0.5382. You've already seen your correction, and you're ready to go higher. I definitely do believe that you're ready to go higher, Turbo. Let's look at this thing on a 1 hour time frame on the RSI. Looking at the RSI, overbought, nice and deep and consistent in the overbought zone. We want to see that. That's good stuff. You can definitely cool off here. Perhaps what we do is we do kind of mull things over, pull back, find support at this prior area of resistance here, something like that going into the end of the day, and then we'll continue to rally. Get this RSI to cool off, find support at the 60 or something like that, and then continue to rally. I very much would expect that. I don't think that it's done here. Looking at the 4 hour time frame, you're reaching for that overbought zone, but you just might miss it. If you were to reject here, I don't know if I would call it a rejection of the overbought zone. If you closed here and you moved down, maybe, but if you were to close this 4 hour candle red in the next 1 hour and 35 minutes, I don't think it'd be a rejection of the overbought zone. Typically, whenever you reject the overbought zone, we look for a move down to the 50. I'm not anticipating that right now, but if you were to make a move down to the 50 or lower on the RSI, I say 50, I should say 50 or lower, you would see something that, brings you back down all the way down to 00373. So being here at 004, if you are to pull back to 00373, don't be worried, don't be frightened. It's fine, right? You're just going to find support at other areas of resistance. However, I don't think that's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is you're going to consolidate here, finding support right at this area of 0039, right? Something like right there. Prior areas of support here, prior areas of resistance there, and even areas of support back here. Something like that. You'll consolidate. It's pretty common whenever you break out to consolidate right above the breakout point and then continue. So I think tomorrow, maybe not the beginning of the day tomorrow, but going into the end of the day today, the beginning of the day tomorrow, you're probably going to consolidate, and then the end of tomorrow, Tuesday, you should be seeing that next phase up. Maybe once this RSI cools off a bit, the 1 hour RSI cools off a bit. And where's that next phase going to take you? Well, looking at the daily time frame here, I might want to take the low to high fib on this first. Let's just see, low to high. 382, yes, you're going to go, I would think, above these highs, right? Over the coming days, by the end of this week, you should be breaking out of this zone. I would bet by the end of this week, you guys, you're back up at about 0058 to 0065. You're at 004 now, so that's some decent growth right there. Nothing crazy, right? And if it were to be anything different, I think that it would only be crazier, not tamer. Right? I don't see a scenario where we're not stopping at something at these resistance areas by the end of this week or higher. Right? I don't see a scenario where we find resistance here and then we go down, or we peak our head above and then we go down. That's not going to happen. I very much do believe by the end of this week we'll be here, if not higher. And Turbo tends to outperform my expectations. So if I'm calling for it to go here, very much don't be surprised if we are above these highs by the end of the week. But certainly going into the end of the month, we should be breaking out of this range. We should be moving higher. This does look kind of like a bull flag, does it not? Coming down like this, bull flag scenario. If it is, let's just see what that would do for us. Okay, taking a low, maybe not a low there. I would say this low, maybe that low to that high right there. Would we take the overall high here? I feel like this would be the high that we would take. I don't know. And maybe it's not a bull flag, but just of a similar kind of comparable move here. In case it's not clear, I do feel like that's the low. That would take us up to about 1.2 cents, which will take us all the way up to our all-time high area. That sounds about right. I think that by the end of June, Turbo should be or will be around its all-time highs, if not above its all-time highs, right? Going into the end of the month, here's the end of the month right here, right? This line right there, that's the end of the month right there. I would think that we see kind of a move like this, something very similar to this over the next 2 weeks. We'll either top off around here and consolidate and then sometime in July continue onwards, or maybe we just push through. Maybe we do kind of exactly what we're doing here on a short-term time frame, where we push through and then we consolidate above and then we continue on. But one way or another, we'll probably find resistance somewhere in about this zone of about 1.18 to 1.44 cents, maybe even a little bit above there. Inevitably, Turbo, you definitely have higher prospects in mind, right? We're looking for new all-time highs going into July. July should provide targets. Come on now. That are at about 2.75 cents to 6.22 cents, which from the current price should result in a overall growth that's about 6.7x to a 15x move. So you've got a lot of growth potential. My guess would be, if I'm leaning one way or another, I really do believe that you're going to see something between 6.2 cents to 4 cents, right? The 1 for 1 for you typically don't stop there. You typically go just above it. So I think you got a 10x move or more in your arsenal of bullish tricks to come. I very much do believe that's what's going to happen. If we're looking at this on a daily time frame, you're getting overbought, absurdly overbought. You're not getting oversold at all. You've broken out. I mean, okay, a little bit. I shouldn't say at all. You got a little bit oversold, but you rejected it, okay? You've got lower highs coming down, and you found support on that trend line that you just broke out of your downtrend in the RSI. Now you're starting something that will probably take you into the overbought zone. Again, by the end of the month, you should be there, and going into July, we're probably going to reside there as well. I'm expecting readings that are much like this in July, not something that's like this where you get in and out, right? Something that's similar to this or more similar to this, or maybe even more bullish than either of them, but you should be growing and seeing some phenomenal price action between now and like the next 6 weeks. That's my expectation, at least. I don't think that I have anything else that I want to say. The 3-day RSI looks phenomenal. You're right in the area that you found support throughout this whole bull cycle, guys. Look at this, right? 3-day time frame. Look at that. Support here, support, all the time. Support here. You came down once, okay? That was after you got listed on all these massive exchanges. You came down once, but you're at the same area that you've consistently found support. I wonder what's going to happen every single time you went to the overbought zone, except for this time, but you still went up to that area. You're probably going to get overbought, and you'll see a deeper reading than what you saw last time, effectively providing a larger move than what you saw here. I really wouldn't be surprised that the first week of July you're at new all-time highs. Maybe even the end of June you'd be at new all-time highs. Weekly RSI, looking at this real quick. Pretty bullish. Consistently overbought, consistently above the 50. You rejected the oversold zone. In your strongest times, you're getting deep in there on the overbought zone. In your weakest of times, you're barely getting oversold. That's a testament of strength in itself. A little volatile right now, but I think that over the weeks to come, you'll be in that overbought zone. And again, that should be sometime in July that you're breaking out of this overall range and continuing higher. I've got nothing else for you guys. I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. All right, bye-bye.